Hey everyone, my name's Woody, and welcome back to another episode of Woody's Fun Show. It is officially summertime, and as you can see, I just created my new summer-themed profile picture. Honestly, I think it looks pretty cool, but you guys can let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section below. And because it is summertime, I'm going to be posting a bit more often than usual, so yeah, more videos coming out. And yeah, today I kind of just wanted to talk a little about my thoughts on the new Inside Out 2 movie that released yesterday on June 14th. Now, if you guys haven't heard by now, Pixar has recently announced that they are going to start making just a bunch of different Pixar movie sequels from popular Pixar movies from the past. And as you can see, Inside Out 2 is one of them. Now, personally, I don't really like the idea of just completely milking out all of these Pixar sequels, because in that way, you're not really making anything more like original. Because that's something I like about Pixar, is that they made a lot of original stuff. Like, yes, they made sequels to other movies sometimes, and that's fine, but they are milking it. Like, we got Moana 2 coming out later this year, Cars 4, Toy Story 5, maybe even Incredibles 3, all of this different stuff. But I must say, Inside Out 2 actually felt like a necessary sequel. Like, I just feel like the concept of Riley becoming a teenager and her starting to experience all these new emotions, like, it's just such a great way to actually continue our journey with Riley growing up and all her emotions and stuff like that. While as other Pixar sequels like Incredibles 2 or Finding Dory just don't really feel like they really need to be there, you know what I'm saying? But Inside Out 2 felt like it had a purpose. It felt like it was genuinely a continuation of Inside Out 1. And although I must say the story itself, like the plot, is pretty similar, it's different enough to where it's kind of its own unique story. Yeah, sure, the plot is just the same old. Riley's emotions are lost out in Riley's mind, and they're going on an adventure in Riley's mind. Something triggers Riley to have a mental breakdown, and then everything goes back to normal. They fix it. But there's enough in there to make it stand out. Like, for example, there's a belief system that we get introduced to where basically Riley has all these thoughts and feelings on what she believes in and what she interprets things as. And I feel like what they did with the concept of the belief system was actually like a pretty good way of dealing with that concept. And of course, you got the new emotions. You got anxiety, you have envy, ennui, and embarrassment. And you even have a good little sneak peek of nostalgia, which, yeah. But anxiety is definitely the standout of the new emotions, because she's kind of the main antagonist, I guess you can say, of the film. And she's like, you know, she's trying to like mess with Riley and try to make her like stand out in her hockey team or whatever and be perfect. And here's another thing about the film, is that Riley has a lot more screen time in this movie than in the first Inside Out movie. Because in the first Inside Out movie, it focused a lot more on the emotions in themselves rather than just Riley. And although, yes, in this sequel, the emotions are still the standout of the movie, you still get more screen time with Riley herself. And in my honest opinion, that kind of makes you feel more sympathy for Riley. Because if she's on screen more often, then you really get to see more of what's going on in her life. And that's something I really liked about the movie, is that you had more sympathy for Riley because she had more screen time. And of course, all the other emotions were very fun too. Although I do feel like envy didn't really have much of a purpose in the film, rather than just to kind of be anxiety's like sidekick kind of. Embarrassment was pretty funny. I like what he did at the end to kind of help the other emotions out, like joy and sadness. And I thought Ennui was pretty funny too, although once again, I don't really think she had much of like a purpose in like kind of interpreting Riley's feelings, kind of. I mean, a little, but not too much. Another thing I liked about this movie was that it was very suspenseful. There were times where you really had sympathy for the characters, and you really, like, you felt sorry for them, and, you know, you wanted Riley to be normal again, and, like, just that feeling of, like, suspense I really felt throughout the movie. Another thing I want to mention are these fictional characters that Riley really liked in the movie. You kind of get to meet them in this weird dark room. I forgot what it was called, but yeah, you have a bunch of these characters such as like Bluefy and Pouch Man or something from this like cartoon show that Riley used to watch as a kid. They're pretty funny in the movie. You also had a video game character that Riley played as all the time or something, and I don't know, he had like a bad power move. But yeah, I thought that was a pretty funny part of the movie. But overall, I think this movie gives just a really good message. The message in here is basically trying to tell people to be you, be yourself. Don't try to change yourself to fit in. Do have the traits that have you be you, and keep those traits if they're good. Every part of you is beautiful. Every part of you makes you you, and that's a good thing. Could sometimes be a bad thing, but you know what I mean. Do good things. Keep promises. Don't be so hard on yourself. All those things are going to make you a better person. Teenage life could be pretty hard. I mean, I know so myself because I am one. But you just gotta keep pushing yourself forward. Keep making the best, and keep making the worst better. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about this movie. Overall, I would rate it a solid 8.5 out of 10. Do I think it's better than the first movie? Probably not. I'd say the first movie is a little bit better when it comes to introductory and kind of being its own unique thing. But that does not mean Inside Out 2 is a bad movie. Inside Out 2 is actually very close to being like a little better than Inside Out. They're both kind of the same good. Probably because they're almost kind of trying to target towards the same thing. And now for the big question. Would I want to see an Inside Out 3? Honestly, I wouldn't mind an Inside Out 3 too much. But anyways, stay positive, and I'll see you in the next episode.